All right, let me get these three up really quick so you can check yourself. I wrote them a little bit above the number just so I know I have enough room. So I make my x, that just helps me organize. I want to multiply to the last number, so that's negative 18, and I want to add to the middle number, so that's negative 3. All right, so then I just have to think of my factor pairs. Again, you've got to think of them yourself. 18, 1 and 18 will not work. 2 and 9, those will not work. 3 and 6, that will work because, don't forget, that because this is a negative product, that means one is positive and one is negative. So since they're opposites, you actually subtract them. So then we know that the numbers are 6 and 3. So if we say positive 6 and a negative 3, that gives us a positive 3. Since we want the opposite, that means that we just take the opposite sign. So instead of positive 6 and negative 3, we know that that's a negative 6 and a positive 3. So then those numbers just jump straight into our factors. So the factors are x times x, because that's the x squared that we get in the front, and then minus 6 and plus 3. All right, and it doesn't matter where you write them, and it doesn't matter which pair goes first. All right, so then we turn to this one. What multiplies to a positive 9 and adds to a negative 3? Well, our multiples of 9, again, it's a positive 9, but it's a negative 3. So that means that both of our signs should be negative. Two negatives multiply to a positive, but they'll add to a negative. So our multiples of 9 are 1 and 9, but that does not work. That does not multiply to, add to a negative 3. Or 3 and 3. But when you add those, that also doesn't work. So since those are all of our multiples, this ends up being the same thing we have here, where it's actually an empty set. There's no actual pairs, so that means it cannot be factored. So you could write prime. Oh, this is a bell, but that's all right. Or you could write not factorable or cannot be factored. I think that's what your book uses. Prime's the shortest, so we'll go with that. All right, so then the last one. Okay, we set it up in our x. What multiplies to negative 63? That means they are going to be opposites. One's positive, one's negative. And what adds to a positive 2? So that's our adding. So 63, if you know your multiplication tables, kind of jumps out to me because 63 is a 7 times 9. And the nice thing about 7 times 9 is that their difference is a 2. So if it's 7, let me write that in pink. If it's 7 and 9, if you add them, you'll get a negative 2 right now. So what does that mean? That means we just switch their signs because our number is right, but we need it to be a positive 9 and a negative 7 because now negative 7 plus 9 gives you a 2. So since that factors, don't forget we've got a different variable here. So r times r gives you r squared, and then minus 7, but plus 9, those are our two factors. So that is the basic factoring, where you just have to find the right pair of numbers for each scenario, multiplying and adding. And then we're going to talk about how we have to take it to the next step for the next type of factor.